Welcome to Frequency, for women expanding into their next level selves and moving with intuitive clarity and planetary alignment as they do. I'm Caprice, identity mentor, astrologist, and intuitive guide. Your frequency is your energetic signature, how you think, decide, and move. It's your authentic self dialed in. Every episode serves to sharpen that frequency, expanding your capacity to hold your vision and take bold, authentic action towards your manifestations. High standards, high signal, high frequency. Welcome back to the podcast. Hi. On my usual 18 cups of Earl Grey per morning. Excessive. Before we begin, I just want to give you like a framework of where my mind is at, working towards this Gemini New Moon, and Uranus is in Gemini. And in a general sense, it brings up a lot of information and connecting the dots type of energy. And I feel so in it. Like my receiver is tuned on and cleaned up and doing its job. And I've been deep in the final editing and approaching launch for the frequency reset, which of course has me spending so much time on the concepts of the themes of consciously reinventing and pacing and the relationship between incubation and emergence, the need to sit still in the void. And then when it is time to take action, magnetically aligned into that new inner authority. And so I'm thinking about cycles and reinvention. And alongside of this, I write. I would consider myself a writer. I've not been writing nearly as much the past year and a half. However, I have had a journal for that amount of time. Typically, I have a journal per year. And I have a journal per year for the past maybe 18 years. I have a stack of journals. I'll have to show you all. I'll maybe do that on TikTok. But I also name them. I name them at the beginning, the very first page. I give it a name. And I don't know where this name comes from. It's just like an intuitive ping for me. And so anyway, I'm nearing the last pages of this journal. And I was like, wow, I feel like this has taken me forever to get through. Let me go back to the first page. Like, what did I name it? Like, where did I even begin? What happened in here? And I went to the first page and I realized that I named this journal the Cosmic Egg. As I realized that, and I was sitting in my living room in this really comfy black leather chair that I have, and I was just sitting there with my tea, most likely, I also glanced over to my coffee table and I have this magazine. I have this really old, you know what? Let me grab it. Let me just grab it. I'm going to go with the flow. Let me grab this magazine. So I was like, okay, that's significant. I called this journal the Cosmic Egg, and I glanced over at my coffee table and I'm staring at this. A symbol of the cosmic egg or the Orphic egg. Also, this is a really old, and this is actually quite symbolic. This is called Luna Arcana. This is just issue number 5. I don't even know if this company is still in print. I mean, they're a publishing company out of Yucca Valley, which I spent a lot of time in. And anyway, this was printed in 2020, winter of 2020. In the energy of COVID, when we were all forced into incubation, where we were all pulled into this void space, which I still find so fascinating, COVID. I could feel like I could talk about it forever. So I'm sitting with this symbolism. I'm sitting with it. It's popping out at me just in my home. And the egg has always been an important symbol for me. I use eggs in cleansing work. It's a Latin thing. Maybe it's a Haitian thing. It's a Black Latin thing to use egg cleanses. I think about eggs a lot. It's symbolically, energetically, and through ritual. As I'm nearing the last pages of my journal, I just can't help but find that there's a message in that, a chapter ending, a chapter beginning, and the potential becoming something tangible, right? When it's time to break out of the egg. I have a few thoughts on the energy of blank slates, and definitely want to talk about Gemini energy and how we're being influenced right now, and creativity, and when life asks us to be in an incubation period, and what happens when it's like, okay, now you've got to snap out of it. Not that it was bad or it's something to snap out of, but it's time for action. That call, the CTA of life, that's like, okay, get out of the egg. You've incubated enough. You've recharged your battery enough. And now it's time for visibility and action and movement, and out of kind of this safety zone. So that's where we're going today. Now, first, let's talk about the new moon. Let's talk about the energetics of right now. New moons are associated with beginnings because they represent a new cycle, just like in numerology, a 1 year, which we are in right now, 2026 is a 1 year. It's this blank slate energy. It's an invitation to choose a new perspective, to claim or command, to align, to reclaim your energy and come back to you and your compass and understand your north. And it's specific to the archetype that new moon is within, and the larger storyline that's being told energetically through the patterns of astrology. And so we have an invitation with a new moon, and we have a blank slate, so to speak. And we have, this darkness. A new moon is not a point of illumination. And I feel like that messes some of us up, actually, because you feel like the common talk around new moons is like, manifest now, like get it all done now. But really, new moon is about aligning with you. It's actually it's a descent. I often have described it over the past decade as being in an empty, dark field that all of its harvest has kind of left, or most of it, let's say 3/4 of it, something. And there's all this room, and you're just sitting there, and you're in the dark, and you can hear crickets, and maybe there's lightning bugs. Ooh, I'm painting a picture. And you're listening, and you're like, what do I desire from this fertile soil? What do I want to grow here? What have I learned from the last cycle? What didn't do well? So there is this inventory process, which actually is a big part of the frequency reset. It's taking inventory. We'll get into that. We have this invitation to sit in the dark. So it's not about new in the sense of something is actualized right now. It's about new in the sense of there's a lot of space to create. And in that space, you may not have all of the answers, but you need your compass. And so that invitation is to recalibrate your compass, understand your north, and ask yourself, what is the story here? Where am I being told to experiment? How can I be curious? How can I focus on something here? Let's talk about Gemini energy, because Gemini is one of the stars of the show this year. Uranus has moved into Gemini. That is a 7-year transit. It's huge. And Uranus rules Aquarius, and we know Aquarius is super activated and is absolutely the overarching theme for the next 20 years, because Pluto in Aquarius, that's it. So now the Aquarian ruler has gone into Gemini and is whispering in its ear. It's not actually whispering. It's like cracking a cosmic whip of lightning up in there. And Gemini's loving it. Actually, they are having a chaotic kiki. That's what I think that's what it feels like right now. With Gemini energy, we have this really young energy. Gemini, the archetype is symbolized by 2 children. So we have, and it's the youngest, it's the first air sign. And so it's the most curious and the most in need of circulation and interaction. It needs to lean into possibility. And with Uranus there, Uranus is saying, guess what? We're going to do things differently. Guess what? Big shift in perspective, big shift in communication, big shift in the story that you're telling yourself, big shift in possibility. And it is actually uplifting, and it is exciting, and it is disruptive. But you got to crack a few eggs to make an omelet. That might be a Fight Club joke. I'm not sure. So those of you who have known me for a long time know me and my Fight Club jokes. So with this new moon, it's like, depending on where it is in your chart, what story wants to be written? Here's the blank slate isn't empty. It's full of potential. There's possibility here. What story am I living in? And can I get curious outside the limitations of that story? So we have this moment of recalibration in Gemini energy. And I mean, I think everyone is so activated. We're just receiving, all of our antennas are up, and it's ideas and it's flashes of insight and it's aha moments and it's pivots in direction. I feel like a lot of people are like, oh, like actually, I'm over this. Like I'm done with this, ready to move. I want something. And so as we move towards this weekend, I really encourage everyone to sit with honestly list out all of the intuitive pings that have been coming up. Like what nudges have been consistent? What is a list of the new information that has been coming through? I think you might find something within that rather than seeking outside of it. I think it's already been coming up within you. And so leaning into that. And then there's also this energy of liberation, because that's what Uranus does. And so Gemini, influenced by Uranus, is saying, okay, new social circles, new people, new influence, be influenced by different information. I feel like I mentioned this maybe in the last podcast, maybe. I mean, change the apps on your phone, delete contacts, change up your normal routines. Like you need to be in a different frequency right now. We need to disrupt a pattern. And these patterns they're in our daily worlds. So it's like switch up where you go get your groceries, switch up the time of day you're doing XYZ, like switch something up so that you are just disrupting the pattern so that you can receive more information. We need to be moving things a little bit differently. So I want to talk about incubation, and I want to talk about my journal. I want to talk about the cosmic egg because it is coming up. I also have this really lovely book, the Book of Symbols. And the very first symbol in this book, it begins with the egg. Because everything begins with the egg. The egg is this process. It is unconscious energies. It is the part of creation myth. It is alchemical in nature. Before, the egg symbolizes unmanifested universe or unmanifested, it's again, potential, where everything kind of like rests in silence and it's protected and it's held and it's shielded because it's shifting. I also think of a chrysalis in the process of the butterfly and how it's in there and it becomes like this primordial goo, and its whole, its entire physicality is shape-shifting and reorganizing on a cellular level. Yeah, page 1, the cosmic egg. So I called this journal the cosmic egg, and I'm in the last X amount of pages. And I really do have this feeling like time is up for a certain phase of time. And I know I've sprinkled it into several of the episodes, but I have I did a lot of traveling before I landed where I am geographically and in this home. I was nomadic for a while. And I moved out of San Diego, California, and did this entire experience. And circumstances just kind of landed me somewhere that I never really had on my mind. So, and I've been here, and I've felt very tucked away. I have felt for the past year and a half or so, I've felt very hidden, and I've enjoyed being hidden and anonymous and kind of tucked in. I've also felt bored, but I've been restructuring a lot of my life. And anyway, I'm feeling the eggs start to crack, and I'm feeling so hungry for other layers of I'm feeling hungry, almost like my teenage self is emerging, and I want really raw creativity. And so I think about potential and creation and the unseen, and what happens before something becomes tangible, or when you really walk through the door of a next chapter. I think there's a cultural thing that celebrates emergence from the egg, but misunderstands the incubation portion of the process, because we're so about visible milestones and mile markers and visible celebration points. And we want to have a visible track record of what we've done to, that's just we're in such a visible time. Everything is seen and online. And it's if you don't have something to show for your time, what are you doing? The thing is that there are absolutely periods of time where we're called into greater congruence, and we have to pull our energy in so that we can launch ourselves further into the next chapter. And that incubation is tough for people, because you feel it feels like stagnation is what I've noticed with clients of mine. It feels like you're stuck. It feels like you're running behind. It feels like you're just completely lost. You're so confused, like you're in a fog. You're in that hallway between chapters. Great episode to go listen to, the hallway between chapters. But the thing is, there's nothing wrong. That's the natural ebb and flow of life. And so I've been in that ebb. I absolutely have been in that ebb for the past, let's just call it almost 2 years. I did feel stuck, and I did feel like I was what's going on here? And I'm that's me. And I have an expansive toolbox. But in that space, in the incubation, when we pull back our energy, when we are in the great personal reset of our signal, there is something forming in that cosmic egg energy. And it is so protected. We're so protected in that energy. And so that frustration, that friction you're feeling is actually protection, because maybe you're not ready. You're not done cooking. Maybe there's something forming. Maybe there's a new vision. Maybe there is a new identity. Maybe you need time to cleanse, to release, to purify. It's a purification process. Maybe it's a new chapter that's forming within that incubation, within that cosmic egg of the period of time that you're in, and a new relationship to yourself overall. Sometimes, the thing that's forming in the egg is you. It's if you want this new you can't fight the incubation process. You can't fight being in the cosmic egg or the Orphic egg, or being in the chrysalis until it's time, and it's time to take action and break through and get the blood pumping, and you're oh, I'm done with this process. How many times have you thought oh, nothing's happening, this is so uneventful, but really beneath the surface so much of you is shifting so that you could take the wheel to the next phase of time. Honestly, that's typically the case, is that you're there's nothing going on, and realize everything's going on. Everything's changing. Actually, it's just not so loud and visible. It's cellular, it's psychic. It's also in the simple and in the mundane, because those are the pillars of life. Those are the foundations. you get bored because you want this big fancy up level, and then you neglect the pillars and the foundations of your life. We take care of that in the reset. Trust me. We take care of that in the reset. So yeah, the difference between incubation and emergence. And it's like, reflection is medicine. Reflection is needed. Being pulled back is needed. Learning is needed. Retreating is needed. Being tucked away for a while is needed. And oftentimes, even if you look at artists or, really well-known people within their field, there's typically a launch that follows a retreat phase. I'm telling you, that's like where we focus. And that's also the energy of a new moon. It's like that pull back so that you can aim your arrow just a little bit more cleanly, and have greater focus and momentum and power to send something off flying. I wonder for you, are you in an incubation period? Are you resisting it? Are you in it? Or is it time to exit the incubation period? Curious where you're at. Let me know in the show comments. And then, when we're cracking the egg, then it's not, there's no more left to learn when the egg starts cracking. You're like, I have really maxed out on what I can absorb in this space. And then it's more like, okay, what do I need to choose now? What do I need to choose? What do I need to express? What do I need to create? What wants to hatch? It's no longer about preparing or perfecting or anything like that. It's like, it's about participating. It's about creating and choosing and trusting and expressing and experimenting and making the decision and following the pool. So when the egg starts to crack, it's like, you're no longer being asked to prepare for your life. You're being asked to participate in it. You're being asked to create it. Each magnetic decision at a time. Like sitting with the information and also sitting with my personal timing and how I feel like my Orphic egg is starting to crack. And I'm like peeking out. I'm like, it's time to make some decisions. I feel like I'm about to be launched out. I feel like something's about to happen here. And I've been feeling the craving for my teenage energy. I love when that happens. She's great. She's great. Like creativity as a teenager. Like I'm also thinking like pre-algorithms, pre-social media, pre-performance and high visibility. And with that comes judgment and criticism and perception of what your timeline should be or what you should be doing or what everyone else is doing, which definitely messes us up. But I miss when creating felt private. Like I miss when creating and my creative energy felt raw and private and so alive and experimental. And I was just being myself and listening to myself and just doing things in the moment and in this radical presence. And I really am craving all like the feeling of when I first would see like films that deeply impacted me and became part of the archetype of me. And the first time I saw them and how expanded I felt in that moment. And it was so private. It was just me at home. And I'm like 8 years old and I see this movie on TV one morning, blah, blah, blah. And I'm home alone and I'm like in my own little world. And I so miss that. And I want to recreate that. And this is like a little side quest info, but I've been so bored with Netflix, HBO, blah, blah, blah. Like I've already finished some shows that I thought were absolutely brilliant, but I'm feeling so bored. And I was like, girl, do you remember the Criterion Collection exists and you can have a membership with the Criterion Collection and actually watch great films? So now my living room is like really becoming an art house. Last night I was blasting the film Suspiria while I was editing the frequency reset. And it's just like Suspiria on my projector, on my loft walls, and candles lit, incense lit. And I was like, yeah, like this feels good. Like this is what I like. I'm curious for you, like what version of yourself are you craving? what creatively is being stimulated, because Uranus and Gemini and New Moon in Gemini, the Sun in Gemini, it is about creativity as well. It's communication, it's aliveness, it's inspiration. And it definitely makes me notice the contrast between when I'm inspired and when I'm not inspired, or when I'm expanded and I'm not expanded. And I think I'm craving being expanded in a way that I felt in those first moments of expansion when I was younger, with either film or music or just real life experiences. I just really want that. Again, I feel hungry for it. And maybe it's also Jupiter moving towards Leo and like really trying to open us all up into like some real big shine. And like feel so expanded in our identities and alive and being the stars of our own show. But I want you to ask yourself, like, what version of yourself are you craving? What creatively are you craving? What really sparks joy in you? How could you be more fulfilled and satisfied? And what would happen if you stopped asking for permission? What about that? What would happen if you colored outside the lines? And what would happen if you followed curiosity again? I'm just feeling so hungry for the next chapter of my life, and I'm in it, and it's here and it's now. But I also know that I'm in charge of designing it, and I feel excited with that process. And as I've been finishing the frequency reset, I am really sitting with all these themes: incubation, emergence, when we need to realign and reset our energy, and when it's time to make magnetic decisions and take actions that are greater aligned. But we need that pullback. And so it really is so much about creating enough space to hear yourself very clearly, create enough space to understand what is ending, creating enough space to understand what is asking to be born, or what parts of you want to take the lead. Create enough space for the energy that's trying to meet you, and it is so much a part of you, and it's saying it's time to participate. It's time to own up to this. It's time to be her and drive that ship and take the wheel and move it forward, because you're in charge of this life. No one else is going to come here and build that for you. You have to build it yourself. And so if you're not satisfied right now, like, you're responsible for that. You know, it's like anytime I've been unsatisfied with where I'm at, I'm like, well, I brought myself here. So what do I do with that? But it's really about strengthening your signal so that you can trust yourself as you move into a next chapter. If you know that you're in that hallway between chapters and the old, there's no going back. You know that there's no going back, and you know that you're not quite yet clear on who you're becoming. And maybe that big picture feels a little exhausting. Honestly, let's take it in baby steps. Like, chip it off one magnetic decision at a time is what I think is best. My intention with the frequency reset, and just like what kind of spilled out for me, is that it's intentionally built for exactly that space. It's a 4-week guided experience designed to help you clear the noise and reconnect with yourself and strengthen your signal and prepare you for the next magnetic chapter. And honestly, this new moon feels like a beautiful time to begin, and it will be available on the new moon. So I love that is the timing of it. You'll find all the details in the show notes. If you're part of my mailing list, you're going to receive first word of that. Anyway, until next time. If you've been listening to Frequency and feeling like you want more direct clarity, support, or guidance around your own life and current season, private recalibration sessions are the way to work with me directly. Sometimes one clear conversation changes everything. These sessions are designed to help you see what's actually happening beneath the surface of your current situation. The patterns, distortions, emotional blocks, your timing, or subconscious dynamics that are affecting your perspective and your magnetic decision making. Through intuitive insight, astrology, energetic recalibration, and grounded guidance, we work directly with what's ready to shift so you can move forward with greater alignment and precision. Private sessions are available individually or for deeper support through the 3-session recalibration series. Head to the show notes or frequency.co, that's FRQNC.co, to book with me. Thank you for tuning into Frequency. If this episode sparked something in you, I would love to know. Reach out to me. Everything's in the show notes. Until next time.